A face-off win by Crosby to Malkin. Back to Letang with a drive. Dubnyk on the line again. It's kicked out. Unbelievable. Malkin shoots, scores. They can't keep that one out. Another power play goal. The Penguins lead at 3-1.
The call on the ice is confirmed.
Across to Granlund. Vanek standing in front. Granlund centers it. Koivu shoots, scores. In comes Koivu, winds and shoots, and Fleury knocks that away. And the Pittsburgh Penguins win it by a score of 4-3.
We are back at Bennett's for another edition of Wild Wednesday. Scott Schweitz and Sarah Sheely. It is just the two of us.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try.
We can make it if we try, for sure.
Or we don't even try. We'll make it regardless. But for those of you that did watch the game last night, very disappointing on a number of fronts. So we can address that right away because it's fresh. Nino Niederreiter is now pegged as some sort of criminal in the NHL because of a door being opened inadvertently and somebody got an injury. So Mata got an injury because the door was open, there was a check, just like there is 30 times a night in every single game.
Right.
And it just so happened that he fell into the Wild bench. Kemper opened the door, blah, 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 blah. Roenick was on Twitter just destroying him last night. And I usually think Roenick's a decent dude, but he was kind of being a douche last night. And beyond that, we had a goalie interference call that should have been, but was not. Somebody totally ran into Dubnyk, tripped him over, prevented him from getting up.
Well, he had a stick underneath him. He was holding him down.
It was ridiculous, and the ref was right there once again, just like it's the same story, different event. But by the time that Dubnyk could get back on his feet, the puck had cycled to Evgeny Malkin, who scored another goal.
He wasn't going to miss that one, that
No,
was for sure.
No, not going to miss that one.
The interesting thing about that was when because Yo did challenge it, but when he challenged it, they came back and said, yes, it was interference on the first part, but the second part wasn't. But the goal happened because of the interference.
No, it's a domino effect, and I would if you admit that there is goalie interference on the front end, and you failed to call it,
right?
Regardless of if there's a goal, like you've interfered with the goaltender,
right?
That's a 2-minute penalty.
Yeah.
So that should not only negate the goal, but also put somebody on the in the box for 2 minutes. But I mean, this is another example of why the NHL and the referees drive us crazy. Another one last night is the high-sticking call on Porter.
The non-existent
high-sticking call on Porter, where right afterwards you see him mouth to the ref, "You're not calling that on me," and it was a total phantom high stick, which again put us on the PK, which has been abysmal this year.
Horrible.
And so Pittsburgh scores. So there's two instances right there that could have turned the game, but in caused them to win, really.
You're talking about, not that first goal, but you're talking about 2 goals last night that came from their power play unit, which is easily, hands down, the worst power play unit in the NHL.
Well, but on contrast, we are easily the worst PK this year
bad
in the NHL compared to last year, which we were the best.
The best, yeah.
I mean, so I don't know how we've fallen so far from grace that we can't seem to keep it together.
We do have some penalty killers that are injured right now, but you do need to step up.
Well, namely our Captain America, who is skating. He is getting better, but obviously did not go on the road trip, as we alluded to last week. And I think the hope is that once they're back, we're going to be back for like 6 out of 7 games or something to that effect over the Thanksgiving holiday. So he should make his way back into the lineup, hopefully sooner than later. So here's hoping.
Yeah, Fontaine's skating too, so that's good to see as well. Graovic, I think we still got another month on him, but...
Yeah, I mean, so you have players that are going to be starting to come back into the lineup, but really, I was really upset last night when I saw that, and then I followed on Twitter. I just don't get it. I don't get how there's no repercussions. I understand you can't penalize a referee for a bad call because then there would be very, very hesitant to ever make a call. But still, when you admit that, there's just no sort of reciprocity that comes back and says, "Yeah, we reviewed it. You're right. There was this. We're overturning it based on that."
I mean, it's an unfortunate situation, but to play devil's advocate, what are they supposed to do after the fact? It's just kind of one of those things that was a shitty call.
You could disallow a goal, but I'm saying you don't necessarily have to give somebody 2 minutes. But if you're admitting that, you can't just admit that and then walk away and be like, "Okay, we're good. Meet you at center ice."
Last night was a frustrating game on a lot of counts. There was some issues with the officiating, I thought, for sure. You also have a first period where it's just, and it's been the story of our game the last few games, where just nobody's awake, nobody's playing. I don't know what's happening, except for Doobie, thank God.
A lot of sleepwalking. Yep.
But there's just, it seems like that first period, they're not in it to win it. They just need a little like shake up, and then as soon as they come out from the second period, they're ready to go. And you just can't constantly be playing catch up in every single game, because eventually you're going to end up dropping a game that you should win, like the one last night in Pittsburgh.
You know what they need? They need Red Bull.
You'll give them wings?
Yep. Well, that's what I drink before my hockey games.
I would not suggest that to anybody who's about to do some sort of physical activity.
This is not a prescription. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. I don't play one on a podcast. But I'll tell you what, when I play hockey at 10 o'clock at night, tonight, on Wednesdays, post Wild Wednesday, which really makes me limit my consumption of whatever beverage of choice I do,
it's unfortunate.
Whether it's ones with Blue Mountains or ones that are brewed down the street, namely Summit. I do have to limit my intake because 10 o'clock's already late enough that...
You have hours to sober up.
It isn't about sobering up. It's about being tired.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, trying to like get yourself in game form to be ready. And granted, it's adult hockey. It's not the NHL. But still.
I don't even know how you're playing at 10 o'clock, no matter what's going on in your life. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
I've been asleep for an hour and a half.
That's nice. Thank you. Appreciate that about you.
So
anyway, we do need to get over the epidemic that has been starting slow. And it's kind of a thing with us. Obviously, we are about to enter December, which we talked about last week, where the Wild traditionally have a rough time in the month of December. And
that is true.
And let's hope that we can get into the month of December on this homestand where we have a good amount of games that I think are definitely winnable. So we can get into that a little bit later in the show.
I mean, am I saying that I'm thrilled with the 1-1-1 in the last 3 games? No, we won the three in a row before that.
Who called 1-1-1? This guy.
Did you really? That's
Absolutely.
impressive. I was being optimistic. So am I thrilled with it?
You and Tony were over there talking about 5-6 points, and I'm like,
without I'm always a little bit more optimistic than you. But without Parise, without Fontaine, without Graovac, I think with our injuries and where we are right now, I'm not horrified by what's happened.
Graovac is a non-factor.
Well, that's not true, because it's a person. It's another person to shuffle around.
No, absolutely, but he's a non-factor as far as from mid-season loss or from somebody who didn't play or who only played a period or so, as opposed to a Fontaine who is a utility player. We've had some interchanging personnel from Iowa coming up. Some didn't even play, and they turn around and go right back.
Honestly, it's every night. It's like I have to look for them. I'm looking so hard to see them because they're barely out there.
Schrader must have took one in the face in practice because he had a bird cage on, too, last
night.
He
did. He took one in the face in the game, and then in practice he had a high stick to the face, and his nose was bleeding, so that's why he was wearing the
cage?
The cage, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of it's probably wise. I probably should wear a cage when I'm playing my adult league, but...
You've got the mustache.
I probably do. I do have the mustache, which will look really awesome. I'll probably look like like one of those old-school hockey players that...
that is true.
Didn't wear helmets.
That is true, yeah, but just the nothing. I like that.
McCracken or one of them.
Well, let's go back. Let's go back to talk about the Carolina game. So you're talking about a slow start. That first period, we were outshot like 19-5. Yeah. First of all, why are they getting 19 shots on goal in the first period? That's horrible. The defense has to step up in front of the net. Like it's every goal that goes into seems to be a deflection off of somebody. It's horrible in front of there.
That's sleepwalking. I mean, they were literally. And if you're the goaltender, you have to be furious. You have to be furious about what are you doing? Like, what are you doing in front of me? You're not blocking anything. You're not preventing opportunities. You're giving up, 2-on-1s and 3-on. I mean, it's bad. I mean, and they even saw it in the overtime, and that's what ultimately. We won the overtime that game, but in the Dallas game, we lost because of a 2-on-1, and that's maybe something that we need to address with the overtime, but.
We do seem to be struggling with the overtime. Obviously, Zucker took care of it in that first Carolina game, but it just seems the 3-on-3 isn't something that we're playing well. It doesn't seem something that, Doobie keeps complaining about it jokingly, but something that he doesn't like either, and something maybe we just need to adjust to a little bit better.
Well, considering the personnel that we have and the offensive defensemen that we have, doesn't it make more sense to, in the 3-on-3 situation, to have 2 of those defensemen, or at least one of the defensemen being an offensive one, then you have a stay-at-home, and then you have a forward. So you kind of have a nice mix of the 3.
I could see that.
But
maybe.
they're rolling 2 forwards and 1 D, and then you get the you get the mismatches on the breaks.
Well, I mean, Saturday we weren't even ever down. We didn't get one shot at all on Saturday in overtime. It was all Dallas, and it was over pretty quickly. So, I mean, you need more speed. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think we're missing Parisi in that situation for sure.
Well, and there's other players that have stepped up. Obviously, Koivu with a great goal last night on a 5-on-3. Zucker, and you're getting contributions from players that you want contributions from. Nino has stepped up and has been playing good hockey.
The 3 guys you just named right there, that line is out of control. I mean, all 3 of them are playing out of their minds right now. So
Vanek continues to contribute, and we're continuing to get contributions from our defensemen. So obviously, Marco Scandella rejoins the team.
Big goal Saturday night.
Heavy hearts go out to him. Obviously, had been extremely emotional going back and seeing his dad, who he knew had the terminal prostate cancer, was very difficult, but he, just like previously with Suter and with Parisi, that he's like, this is what my dad would have wanted.
Yeah.
My dad would have wanted me to come back and play. They made a lot of sacrifices for me, and then when he scores, obviously gives the tribute to his dad, says that was for him, obviously.
Yeah.
So very emotional in the locker room, but he rejoins, and we have a more stable back end. If they could improve their play, or I guess come together with the forwards to be a more defensive team like they used to be, that would be optimal.
Well, and Suter's minutes have been up quite a bit. He played 33 minutes Saturday night. He was up close to 30 last night. Honestly, I don't think he had the best game last night.
Once again, leads the league at an average of 27 minutes a night.
Yeah. And in the beginning, he was lower, and obviously there's injuries, and you've got some guys you're not playing as much, and, I see it. 33 minutes is too much for anybody. There's no way he should have been in there 33 minutes Saturday night. And last night, he just seemed kind of off and tired. I don't know if it was because he was out there too much, or he just seemed to not be. He seemed to be the problem in front of the net.
It could be. I mean, obviously you get tired, and if you're a journeyman and you're playing crazy minutes like that, maybe it's going to catch up to you. This early in the season, it shouldn't. Especially you're not playing a back-to-back. You had some days to recover. You're playing on a Tuesday. Previously, you played on a Saturday, so
right.
You have a little bit of travel involved, but it's not like. You get done, you travel up to, like we played here, you travel to Winnipeg the following day. So I don't know. I mean, I hope that they can get things together. I hope coming home after Boston tomorrow night will help. I'm hoping just playing Boston, because I think that definitely is a winnable game.
Well, last night was a winnable game, too. I mean, if you were going to play in Pittsburgh any time, last night was the time to play in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if there's if we have in our own heads about Pittsburgh, though. Because obviously the last time we played there last season was the 7-2 loss, when it was and
then the next day we traded for Doobie.
Yeah, I mean is what's going to happen the following day? Is Mike Yeo getting fired? Is Mike Yeo and Chuck Fletcher getting fired? Is the whole staff, are we going to be trading the house away, or do we just go and get a goaltender and try to stabilize things? Which obviously the latter was done. It did stabilize things, but why does it have to unravel to that point? If you do now have, you have goalie stability, so why can't we have great, consistent games?
Well, like I said, the first period's been tough for us. We've been playing kind of sloppy. Last night there was just some sloppy turnovers. And I think that we're doing all right, honestly. Everybody's really down. I'm reading Twitter and I'm reading blogs, and everybody's furious with these last 3 games. And, come on, we're missing Parisi. I think that we're doing pretty well since he went down.
Well, that's Twitter, though. Those of you out there that listen to the show, we love you. But there's a lot of people in the Twitterverse that love to just lose their minds when something very small happens. And you have to obviously – and Tony is not here. He's probably out keeping us safe. But he is not here, and he is one that I think likes to lather things up a little bit more, where I try to take the Kevin Bacon approach from Animal House and do the all is well kind of bit. But
and I'm kind of in the middle.
Yeah, of course. But truthfully, you can't get too out of whack one way or another. Obviously, if you go down the drain and there's no recovery, and you're really looking for no way and no light at the end of the tunnel, sure. But I don't think unraveling and going crazy is going to do anything, because when you're done, you're in the same place.
Well, I think that one thing that we've seen coming through this, though, is Dubnyk and him stepping up. You know, he has 37 saves in the Carolina game. He's got 33 saves in the Dallas game. You know, has he given up maybe one or two bad goals? Yes, but I really feel the rest of them have been deflections off of people. And other than that, and that goalie interference goal. But other than that, I really think that you've seen him step up where he's needed to since Parise's gone down.
Yeah, I mean, he did. Could he have saved that one from Malkin last night? Not the one that he was interfered
right.
with, the other one. I mean, he did make a pretty sick move to walk around Granlund, and Trader couldn't catch up with him, but it was above the pad. I mean, it wasn't like the greatest goal. I mean, could he have saved that block? I mean, probably.
I just think it's nice to see him step up and see him playing the way that I'd like to see him play, making that amount of saves. And like I said, there's just no excuse for 19 goals in one, or 19 shots on goal in one period. That's just inexcusable. But I think I'm happy to see him stepping up. It's nice to see Granlund finally getting a goal last night after 13 games without one. I think Pominville is kind of getting all the shade from everybody on that, and maybe Granlund needs to step up a little bit more as well. But it was nice to see him moving in the right direction last night. Palmer did have that really nice assist. I'll give him that.
I mean, I would, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the jury's still out on what's going on with him. And at what point are we going to, obviously when Parise comes back, what kind of personnel moves should happen, or versus what personnel moves will happen. And obviously that's on the coach, and you want to help this guy as much as you can, but at what point do you have to think of the betterment of the team and really put him to a lower role? And maybe does that come with, does Vanek also go down then and play with Haula and Haula and Pominville on the third? You got Parise, but Granlund hasn't been playing great either.
Right,
so.
That's what I'm saying. I think that Pominville's kind of getting all the scrutiny on that, when Granlund really hasn't been playing much better. He's got 2 goals on the season, one last night after 13 games without one. So
he's on a standalone, though. Like, he needs Parise to do well. I mean, that's the thing.
I mean, that's fine. That's all said and done. He had plenty of time with Parise as well. I mean, that's 8 games, 9 games that he had with 8 games with Parise without a goal, too. I mean, I don't know. At some point, I'm not sure what you do with Pominville. Something needs to happen. And maybe if you did make some sort of change, switch something up, that might ignite something underneath him. I don't know what needs to happen. But you've got him in front of the net just like slapping at the puck. It's unexcusable that didn't go in. And nothing.
No, I mean, but to the effect of what are you going to do? I mean, what can you do when you have a guy under contract?
Well, I mean, I'm not giving up on him by any means, and I
tell you what, I thought it was ludicrous. Like last week when we talked about, it was actually a couple weeks ago. Russo talking about, I mean, maybe you got to buy him out, but I mean, the way that the season goes, honestly, if this continues, and he only ends the season with single-digit goals and just a non-contributor, I don't know. I don't know what you do. I
am not to that point yet with him. I'm not giving up on him.
Well, you definitely have to stash him on a lower line, like a la Danny Heatley.
Yeah, something needs to happen at this point. I mean, it's just reached a point of frustration for him, frustration for the team, frustration for the fans. Something has to happen to spark it.
How shitty is it that I just compared Pominville to Heatley?
It really. I thought that too. Caught me off guard.
How aggressive has it? I mean, I'm a pretty even keel, but I mean that's really how I'm feeling about him. He's getting stupid penalties. He got a penalty last night. It was stupid. Like he's swatting at the puck. I mean, what has he done? Is he just in his own mind? He's got like goalie head case-itis?
Yes, he is very snake bit. I mean, it's beyond snake bit at this point. It's in his head. He can't get out of it. I mean, I have this discussion with one of my coworkers all day long because he just keeps. He's being so like fine about him. He's going to wake up. It's going to be fine, and maybe he is. But at what point? I mean, when we started having this conversation 7 games ago, maybe, but that was 7 games ago, and now it's time. I mean, something has to happen. So I don't know. You got to move him for sure. Once Parise comes back, you got to move him for sure.
Which is really disappointing, considering how that. And who knows? Maybe you bring him down and like. It does wake them up that they're down there. Obviously, not nice that you have to, to penalize Vanek, to go down to the third line?
I don't know if he would look at it like that,
Maybe you
though,
don't.
honestly. I think that he's a pretty versatile player, and he likes to play all over the place. He does well all over the place. I don't know if he's looking at it like that, to be honest.
Okay, so, I mean, Haula now coming back. He was out with a little illness, and I think gave that over to Carter, which
Yeah.
I think that is going to be a loss having Carter out of the lineup.
They haven't said that he's out of the lineup yet, actually. Yo said that he's hoping that he plays tomorrow, but
Giving him the banana bag,
Yeah.
filling him with fluids and potassium
Basically.
and all kinds of fun.
Haula is going. He hasn't traveled yet, but they're saying that he's going to catch a flight later this evening, travel out to Boston.
Hope he's back with the team.
And then, really?
I
I
think-
read that he hadn't traveled yet.
I think he, last I did read, I think he was back with the team.
Well, whatever. So he is with the team today at some point, and he will play tomorrow night. Carter, they were saying, under the weather, but hopefully will play. So we'll see. I mean, it seems like some weird November thing. They always have to get some sort of bug or some sort of illness. The mumps last year, and now the flu or whatever it is this year that they have going around. But
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what not at all near last year. Let's not
Oh
go
my
that.
God,
I mean,
that was
last year
horrible.
like we had it's like we had Ebola and a bunch of other stuff in the locker room. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, but who gets the mumps for one? I
Yeah.
mean, that stemmed from
Well, it wasn't just us.
That was the West Coast.
Right.
Somebody didn't wash their hands for about a year or something because they gave the mumps to about half the league. But we're not going to have that type of injury level or loss of games with people that we saw last year. We get Parisi back, we'll have some stability. We're going to start seeing some players come back into the lineup. Maybe Grayovac, not too much longer. You get Fontaine healthy. You get some of these other players that are better. I would like to see some more from the minor leagues, but they're banged up too. And I mean, Kiernan didn't do much of anything.
he didn't know.
So
Like I said, I had to look for him. I mean, I felt if I wasn't looking, I wouldn't have even seen him out there.
Balmer, I mean, Balmer.
He looked a little bit better than Kiernan, I thought, but it was kind of the same thing. And I just feel, I was reading about the Baby Wild, and it's just sad, honestly. I mean, next year hopefully is going to be better, but right now we just really don't have much down there due to their injuries. But there's just not a lot of support for us, and of course it's in a time that we need it. And to have this type of injury situation and be looking at a minor league team for help this early in the season, I mean, that sucks too. What's going to happen come February when it's been a longer season and we maybe have some more injuries and nobody to turn to?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it has to be. If it gets to that point, I mean, Pominville's almost like a Backstrom in a way. I mean, if he continues this way,
I cannot believe. Okay, come on,
now
you.
well, no, but
too much.
I'm just okay. So I'm going to say about as far as his contract goes. I mean, you're not going to be able to move the contract if he's playing like this. Just like you're not going to move Backstrom's contract.
You cannot compare Pominville to Backstrom. Those are
just
two
the contract,
totally
not the
different
play.
things. Like I said, I do think that he's going to wake up at some point
I
here.
hope so.
I think it's just one of those in his heads. I just don't know at what point. How far do we get into it before we have to do something about it?
Yeah, I'm just reading Twitter, and Derek Felska tweeted in about do you think we could get a deal for Harmonic? And I don't think so. I don't think that it probably would that would work out. I think he has a no trade clause, so to some extent. So I don't think you'd see that. Plus, I mean, the Wild aren't ready to cut bait on him yet.
I don't know why we're
Sarah's point,
talking about buyouts and stuff already. It's too soon. It's too soon. I'm not
maybe they should
ready
talk
yet.
about that to him. Maybe that would wake him up.
I'm sure. Well, that's probably what's worse though. That type of shit is probably in his head.
Pominville,
And
if
now
you're listening right now.
we believe in you.
Well, if you don't start scoring,
He just compared you to Backstrom, but I believe
I
in you.
compared you to Heatley and Backstrom. So
That's rough.
wake your ass up and score some goals.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to be going over to Croatia or wherever that you end up when you're. Did you go to Germany? Where did Heatley go? Germany.
Germany.
Okay, yeah, you're going to go over there.
He's going to be fine.
Germany's lovely this time of year. Anyways,
He's going to be fine.
So other than that, coming up now when the Wild come home, how are we feeling as far as our matchups?
Well, I'm happy to see a nice 4-game home stretch. I think that we need that in our injury situation and in this tough road trip that we're on. So at Boston tomorrow, home against Predators on Saturday. That's always tough. That's always going to be a tough game.
Did you see, by the way, the Predators? Did you see that fight with Mike Fisher where he hit I'm trying to think who he fought, but he hit him, and his tooth just like flew out of his mouth, and he's like kind of like spitting it, and then you could just see the tooth. Two defensemen in the league last night like lost their front teeth. They're gonna have chiclet teeth now.
They all have chiclet teeth, anyways.
But the front teeth are that's their prominent teeth.
Who were the Preds playing the other night, and it was just like all hell broke loose. There was like 7 people in the box. Was that Saturday night?
Perhaps. But Mike Fisher doesn't seem like the type that's usually fighting. I mean,
he can be kind of feisty.
Did Carrie Underwood piss him off?
Maybe she's on tour. He hasn't seen her for a while.
Bad home life?
Yeah.
A lot of stress, a lot of buildup?
I highly doubt that life with Carrie Underwood is a bad home life.
It can't be.
No, it can't be.
She seems so pleasant.
Yeah.
Especially when I watch like Sunday Night Football. So pleasant. Yeah. I think she does that at home. Like when she comes home, like she like has their silver dress on and she like sings to him like, "Hey Mike, welcome home. Look at you," like that kind of stuff.
That was a very nice rendition.
That was totally off the cuff. I do parties.
That was impressive.
Biesca. That's right. Okay, Kevin Biesca's tooth flies out after Mike Fisher punches him in the face.
Gross.
But right under that, so Aaron is our Johnny on the spot as far as anything we need. He is a fabulous producer. Those of you that are looking for a producer.
And he can grow a good mustache.
If you want to poach him, just pay him well. Otherwise, we're not letting him go. He also has a no trade, no move clause.
Yes, he does. We must approve all offers.
But he pulls this thing up, and right below, like a picture of him and Carrie Underwood, I'm like, solid. That just solidified. Like, you're right. Nothing,
Mr. Carrie Underwood.
There's nothing wrong with living with Carrie Underwood. You just deal.
Yeah, I think that you just live with it at that point.
So beyond the Preds, then you have the Canucks, then you have the Jets, and you have the Stars, and it's a 3 games in 4 nights. So Wednesday,
3 games in 4 nights. Yeah.
Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
Yep, you're right.
So, and right around Thanksgiving. So obviously you're going to have the turkey and have the tryptophan, and everybody's going to be sleepy. So, how you feeling about that? I mean, that's a lot of hockey in 4 days.
It is a lot of hockey. I mean, you've got the Preds at home Saturday, and then Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. I think the Jets Stars back to back is a tough turnaround. The Jets is fast, physical, and then the Stars is always a tough team. They're playing unbelievable hockey this year. It's disgusting, really.
Well, to walk out of that game with an overtime loss, I was happy with that, and that's
me too.
And that was what
especially in a place
that
where
was
we play
not
terrible.
The game. It was not the game that I expected to get the point out of.
No,
as far as my 1-1-1, the overtime point would have been Pittsburgh. The loss would have been Dallas. The win would have been in Carolina. But and furthermore, I said we should have played Kemper in one of those games just to get him some ice time, because now we're still rolling Dubnyk and Kemper is on the bench, and maybe he's opening the door out of frustration and to hell with this. I'm going to watch this guy fly in the board.
Well, and when do you start him? I mean, do you start him tomorrow in Boston?
No, I think it's already been said that I think
it's Dubnyk.
Yeah, they're going to keep him going.
I mean, I don't start him on Saturday with the Preds at home. Maybe Canucks. I don't start him with the Jets or the Stars. Maybe because of the back-to-back. Do you start him in one of those?
You probably do, but who?
I don't know. Friday?
The Jets? Ugh. I don't know. I'm going to be out of town. I'm going to be in Hilton Head for the Thanksgiving,
for all those games,
Thanksgiving holiday, and so I will be watching it via television, so I will not see it. But you have to play them at 1. So obviously, to give them a break on Friday, that probably makes the most logical sense.
Probably. I mean, the Jets are a tough team, but I don't think that you start them against the Stars. I said the same thing last time. I just don't think. I think that's a game that we need to win too badly for confidence and for standings and for whatever else. I don't know. I don't really like to start him anywhere. Now he hasn't going to have played in 8 games by the time that comes?
Before the Jets, maybe you do start him against the Preds. A couple days after Boston, you're getting back home. Maybe you do give him that the chance. And then if you need to bring him back, then you play Dubnyk against the Canucks, you play him against the Jets, and Dubnyk back against the Stars.
So you're talking about starting Kemper 2 out of the 4? I don't like that.
No, only if he plays well. I mean, I don't know. Then you kind of see.
Yeah, but don't you kind of need him for that tough back-to-back? I mean, if he's going to play anywhere, I think you got to put him in there.
You got to play him at some point.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of when. I mean, you can't push it off anymore. And who knows? He might surprise you. He might come in and just have a blowout game. I mean, he is the tale of two goalies. He's either god-awful, where, like, no shit, you could put pads on Aaron and put him out there and probably save some, with the mustache, by the way.
God-awful Aaron.
The mustache alone would stop goals. Solid.
right in their tracks.
Aaron P.I. He's Magnum P.I.'s right-hand man. Or you get a great goalie who can be lights out and can really be positional, and he plays large and he plays aggressive where he's coming out of the net. I mean, you could get that goaltender, and obviously you want to revive that part of him so you can use him more often without having conversations like this to say, what the hell do we do? We have to play him, obviously. He's just sitting on the bench collecting dust and opening doors. What do we do?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough situation. I mean, Doobie seems to do well and better when he's starting most of the time. But you're putting Kemper at a disadvantage for him and for us because he's not playing in any games and he's not, out there. Does that get in his head and then he's kind of rusty and then he gives up a couple goals right away and then it's really in his head and it's just kind of a snowball situation?
Well, truthfully, I mean, it goes back to the contract situation. If the contract situation would be different, we could send him down to Iowa. And then he'd get the lion's share of the games down there. Who knows? Maybe that would make the team better and give him some confidence.
Make them better.
But then he would at least get some action, and he's not just being a bench guy. Obviously he's getting practice time and all that too, but it's different than game situations.
It's just not the same. I don't know. I don't know what you do, honestly, especially when you have a goaltender like Doobie, who last year started whatever it was, 38 games or whatever it was in a row, and did so well. He just seems to be that type of goaltender who likes to start like that, and I don't know where you plug him in.
I mean, he did make comments like that last year, like, no, I'm good. Like, I feel good. I want to keep this rolling. So in that case, if you do have somebody who's feeling it, don't mess it up. But safety and health condition, why you don't want to also put too much on your number one, because if something happens to him, God forbid, you're in some serious trouble.
Well, he seems to be playing really well right now, Doobie, and I'm happy to see him out there and see him he's elevated his play a lot, I think, since the beginning of the season, where maybe there were some questions about him and what, did we make the right decision? And I'm happy to see him playing the way he is. I wish he could get a little bit more support out in front of the net, but I don't know. I don't know what you do with Kemper and when you plug him in, but I tell you what, I don't like it against the Preds.
Okay, fair enough. So let's look around the league at some standings, and let's find out where things are sitting. Obviously, the way we sit right now, we are fourth in the Central. So considering how we've done year-to-date, how do you feel about that?
I feel good where we are. I think having Dallas step up and play the way that they are isn't something that we really needed. Was the last thing we needed was somebody in our conference division to stand up and play the way that they're playing. First team in the NHL to 15 wins. But I feel good about our play. I feel that we have some room for improvement for sure. Our penalty kill just needs improvement so bad. It's killing us right now. But where we are at this point in the season, I'm happy with where we are.
10-4-3. The schedule has been, I wouldn't say extremely difficult, but if you do look at the standings, it is interesting because you see Dallas at the top, followed by Nashville, St. Louis, us, and then Chicago. And obviously we have a game in hand on both Chicago and St. Louis that are bookending us in the 3 and 5 position, but still, it is kind of amazing to see that those are the people at the top. No surprise that Winnipeg is, dwindling down. And
I love Colorado.
And Colorado, actually, I misspoke. No surprise that Colorado is hanging out in the cellar.
Dweller.
But is surprising to see Winnipeg that's down next to them. I thought that they would have stepped up and played a little better based on how they ended last season.
They had a tough start, though. They had a really rough start. They've kind of stepped it up in the last couple of weeks, but I think they'll be fine. It's just look at that division compared to every other division.
I was
it's
just
unbelievable.
I was looking at a different stat. Look at I'm looking at advanced stats here, but the goal differential for Winnipeg is 12. They have been scored on 12 more times than they've scored goals. Wow. Everybody else in our division is either even or a plus.
Wow.
So even below them, Colorado's at a 50-50. 50 goals for, 50 goals against. Chicago has a 5+. Minnesota, we have a 4+, and then St. Louis is a 5+. Dallas, 20. 20 in the green. That is
crazy.
Serious. That shows great goaltending and just
defense.
an offensive juggernaut.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. It's interesting that they haven't played any games into overtime either, Dallas, or lost any games in overtime.
Yeah, lost any games in overtime.
Yeah, because they played against us
in overtime. But yeah, it's that is telling. And New York on a 9-game winning streak. I mean, the Rangers are the Rangers. And, let's call a spade, but 14-2-2 with 30 points and 9-win streak. That's damn good.
Yeah, they've been playing some amazing hockey. Canadians as well.
Well, Canadians started out so hot.
Yeah, so
hot. They finally had their streak broken. But looking around, I don't know if there's any other real surprises that I'm looking at. Toronto, who's going to be coming to town not too far from now.
December 3rd.
There we go. That's exciting. We'll have them here. I mean, hopefully we can
get a win,
kick the shit out of them. But take their anthem and bring it back home. Sorry, Sarah.
Okay, rude. First of all, there's no reason to kick someone when they're down. Okay, they're our friendly friends from the north.
You need to take advantage. When they suck, you need to win.
Yep,
you
absolutely.
Can't be like,
we need to win that game.
We feel bad for you. We will give you a win and play down to your level.
Even as a Maple Leafs fan, I'd want them to lose that game.
That's good.
I want to go see it. Oh. I just want them to lose it. They're coming to town soon. It was funny because my sister, when we were at the Wild game last week, actually, she was texting me pictures of her at the Stars Maple Leafs game. And so it was this chat between me and my two sisters going back and forth. It's all hockey pictures. Babcock is king, blah, 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 just all these really funny Canadian verbiage. And I sent it to Scott, and I was like, this is what a text message string between 3 Canadian sisters looks like.
It was really ridiculous. Really ridiculous. I'm like, oh, look at King Babcock. And then I think there was like something about like Canadian fries in there.
There was nothing about Canadian fries. While poutine is delicious, there was nothing in that text.
We did have the poutine at Bennett's because Sarah saw it on the menu, and she had to have it. So we had it before the show. And what did you think?
It was amazing. As the resident Canadian, I will tell you it was amazing. I loved it. I was afraid it was going to have meat on it because I hate when that happens, but there was no meat. It was just classic hand-cut fries, a nice brown gravy, and Wisconsin cheese curds. It was on point.
So have you had it any place else around here that you would compare it to, or how would you compare it to back home?
I've had it like every place
How about
else.
back home? Compare it to back home.
It was really good. The gravy was a little bit thicker than what you would generally get in Canada, but it was really good.
Okay.
The cheese curds were on point.
So those of you that come down to Bennett's and ride the shuttle to Wild Games, as you should, order some poutine and really feel that Canadian vibe.
You should. You should definitely ride the shuttle next Wednesday, night before Thanksgiving.
And then you should probably Uber it home afterwards.
Yes, but no, you should come with the shuttle back, have some drinks, and then Uber it home.
If you probably talk to the right people, they may let you dance in the bar or something. I don't know.
I wouldn't recommend dancing on the bar, but that sounds like a lot of fun.
Just saying you could ask.
Yeah, you could probably
if you wanted to. If you really tuned one. It's like the unofficial biggest drinking day of the year or something like that.
I know, it's crazy.
I never thought of it that way until somebody said, well, nobody works on Thursday. And it's like a day to sit on your couch.
But that's that's true. I guess I don't like that because I'm always cooking all day. So being really hungover is a nightmare. We
went away from that in our family. We went away from the cooking Thanksgiving, and we just get it from somewhere.
Do you? I was thinking about doing that this year, honestly.
Lake Elmo Inn. Lake Elmo Inn plug right there? Yeah. Lake Elmo Inn, solid.
So you just go there and eat?
Pick it up. No, you pick up, bring it home. It's in boxes.
Interesting.
And you just put it out.
So what do you do for the rest of the day?
Watch football and hang out.
Huh.
Your life is your own then.
Interesting. This isn't. I might have to explore my options here.
So for those hockey fans out there, go out, watch the game, get absolutely torn up, and then not have to worry about cooking the next day. And then
we have it all figured out.
Then you have a day of recovery, and then you get to do it again. You get to go see the Jets, go down to the X, or go down to Bennett's first, then ride the shuttle to the X, yell no Jets no, because those idiots will be selling go Jets go. And so we have to do that and then watch them fight each other.
I can't believe that you're going to miss a Wednesday, Friday, Saturday homestand.
I know.
That sucks.
Well,
they're all non-school nights.
It'd probably be even worse if I still live downtown. But I feel a little better about it considering it would be 3 nights that I'd have to be driving back home. But anyways, I was just looking at other standings, by the way. And another surprise, I mean, the Pacific, nothing should be a surprise because it's absolutely, crazy how things are going for, the Anaheim Ducks. But Calgary Calgary, who I thought kind of had turned things around, 7-12-1, but a goal differential of -26.
Wow.
That's bad.
That's really, really bad. I mean, look at what you say the Stars was.
The
Plus 20?
The Stars are a +20. The
That's
Rangers are a +25, as are the Montreal Canadiens.
Wow, that's
So
crazy.
to look at the goal differentials like that, that's kind of the fun thing about stats. I mean, you see like how bad a team has gotten, either blown out, or if they consistently can't have an even game, if they're losing by 2 to 3 goals a time, that does pile up. But let's hope that we're not having that conversation next time, because it could be bad if we let things get out of control with these next games.
I don't feel like that's it. I'm not concerned, honestly. I think that we're going to go in. I'm excited to come home. I think that we take tomorrow night. We turn around, we take tomorrow night in regulation. And I think that we're going to come home and we take 3 out of the 4. I think that back-to-back is kind of tough.
Back-to-back is tough.
I really want that Stars game.
We're not to the point of predictions yet, are we?
No, I don't. I'm just saying.
Spitballing?
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, I'll say this as long as we're on kind of the topic. Tomorrow night, I get to fill in again for Kevin Gorg because he will be out doing his FSN bit before the game with Kendall
His
Mark.
bit, a.k.a. his job.
Yeah. Well, he does this bit before the game. Like if you watch the pregame on FSN,
Yeah.
Kevin he does have a bit. Like
Yeah.
he talks to players and he does other things. So obviously he's doing that, so cannot be on the show. But I will be filling in with Kendall and Aaron. We'll be
Fun.
talking probably some more about the Wild, maybe a little bit redundancy about tonight because there won't be a game. There will be a game after the show, 6 o'clock Boston. Talk a little fantasy football too, but that is at Patrick McGovern's, and you can also find it 5 o'clock on the Alive and Social Network.
Fun. That I really like that show a lot.
And if you want to come
Kendall
down, you
and
can
Gorg
come
are
down
really
and
fun.
see. You can see Aaron's stash. I now have a stash, which equally is creepy. Not as good, but equally as
It's
creepy.
not as good, but they're both pretty creepy, to be honest.
But the thing is, it's
When is it, December?
It's Movember, so you see it all over the place. I see people in the office that have the mustaches that are like, oh, he's doing it too. I get it.
So by the time we come back for the next show, because we're off next week for the holiday, by the time we come back,
Yeah,
is it going to be December?
It'll be gone.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. You're going to keep yours, Aaron?
He said he might keep it like in perpetuity,
Like forever?
like a thing.
I thought that we were trying to find you a girlfriend.
There's women out there that dig it for sure.
That's why he's going to keep
Absolutely.
it. He says. Okay,
There's women out there that probably are like, wow.
I'll keep an open mind, I
Yeah.
guess.
You know the women that like that? The women that probably watch Blue Bloods and like to watch.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, really?
What is that? Aaron doesn't know what that is either.
Isn't it Tom Selleck who's like the main guy in
Oh.
Blue Bloods with the sweet stash?
I'm not old,
Yeah, but he's like an old guy on the show, and he's got a sweet stash.
but it's an old show
No,
for old people.
Blue Bloods is not an old show.
Oh.
It's like a new show. It's like a cop show.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
All right, look it up.
Okay.
Use the Google machine.
Okay.
So yeah, that'll be our thing tomorrow night, and I don't know. I'm not sure. I want to be positive about the games. I want to be positive about the games. I want to be positive about Parisi coming back and having the homestand, but we do have to get our PK figured out.
Kendall just tweeted at us to speak on it, so
She wants us to speak on it.
we're speaking on it.
Yep.
What's your prediction for when Parisi's back then? One of these 4 games.
I think if he's skating, and we have, maybe Saturday might be too aggressive, but definitely Wednesday.
You think definitely Wednesday?
Definitely Wednesday. That was like a Rain Man thing. Definitely Wednesday. But I think so. I think Wednesday because he was on 93X this morning. He said he's been skating and he just has to get back, with the team and everything and feel good. So, I would say.
Do you have concerns that he is Zach Parisi and he's always going to want to try to be
He said
the best?
he said that he is not going to come back before he's ready.
Okay.
He said he's not going to make that mistake again.
Okay.
So that was one thing that was said, and so to that point, I think they will be a little bit tentative. Now that is a week away, and if he's skating, that's plenty of time to get back into game shape. And you know him; he's not sitting on the couch, eating cheese puffs. I'm
No.
sure he's
No.
I'm sure he's making sure and chomping at the bit to get back and
Yeah.
doing everything he can while not risking the integrity of his MCL. So he can be back and be effective. So
Yeah.
he doesn't have to be cautious.
It was an unfortunate situation, I think. It is nice to see. When he first went down, the sheer panic of, oh, shit. But it is really nice to see him kind of turn around, and it feels like it was, how many games has he missed? 6?
It's been a long time ago. It's a couple weeks.
Yeah.
It's been a couple weeks since we talked about the initial injury.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, or was it just last week?
So it was not this last Saturday, but the Saturday before, yeah. So
okay.
It's been
A week and a half.
6 games.
You said 10 days. That makes sense.
Yeah. So,
right.
if we can see him come back next week and missed
It does feel
7
like
or 8
a long,
games,
it
it's
feels
not
like a
that
long
bad.
time ago. But obviously, when you lose someone like that,
Right.
every game's going to feel like a long time because he is the person. He is the game breaker. He's the person that can rally your team. And while we do still have players that are doing a good job, you still don't replace a Zach Parise.
So, in his absence and in the other injury and illness issues that we've had, with the exception of, you're not allowed to say Palmer in this question.
All right.
Who needs to step up the most?
I don't know. Granlund. I would probably say that's an easy one, but that's on the same line. Beyond that line, problem with Granlund is Granlund's not a natural goal scorer. He is a setup guy, and that is a known thing, that he is good with the puck and he is a good assist guy. I don't think he's not going to stand alone, so he performs well traditionally, maybe not so far this year, but when he is surrounded by talent. Size-wise, is that an issue for me? No. I'm not of the belief that if you're small that you can't survive in the NHL. You can just start naming names. San Luis, Spurgeon. You all know how I feel about Spurgeon. Small guy, but clearly can operate in the NHL. Can he do it? Yes. Does he need to step up? Yes. As far as beyond him, Howlo, but Howlo's shown that he's
been better.
He can play better, and if he could play better defensively, I would like to see that also. But really, I think it's a team collective effort to just play a better, solid, rounded game.
So let's say Zach is back Saturday. I don't think he's going to be back Saturday, but let's say that he's back Saturday. What does that top line look like to you?
I don't know. What it tells me, and if Tony was sitting here, he would say that they revert back to Parise, Granlund, Pominville, and go back to that. But, does that the right thing to do? I don't think so. I think you probably have to mix things up and maybe put Coyle on that top line with Parise and Granlund, drop Palmer and Vanek back to the third line. If Howlo's healthy, with Howlo, because he has been playing better, probably by that point you're going to have Ryan Carter. If he did get illness, he's going to be back in the lineup. And then you determine who your other cast of characters are. Porter's been playing, I think, well.
He has been playing
He's
well.
been contributing, playing his role well, as Carter is. Cannot ask for a better fourth line dynamic when they're healthy and playing the way that they should. So just getting the first and the third, if you want to call them the first and the third lines, I guess, figured out and have them start clicking like the second line is, then you will see some more contribution and hopefully people, we can get ahead of the game early and they'll be playing from behind as opposed to playing with a lead.
How do you feel about Charlie right now?
He's bounced around to 2 different spots. I don't know. Is he played to his potential? No. But, he's getting bounced around a few different lines. So, I don't know. I know he can play better. I don't want to bag on him because he is still
he's doing
producing
all right.
and he's still contributing. So
He's just kind of
he's not my I don't
under
have
the
issue.
radar.
I don't have issue with him.
Yeah.
He exactly is under the radar because there's other people that have more glaring issues.
Well, and there's other people who are doing better. You know what I mean? It doesn't really go either way. I think it's just kind of he's just there.
One thing I will say again,
playing well enough to not look bad, and he's playing, maybe not well enough that he could play a little bit better. But
I'm tired of the Prosser experiment personally. There was periods of time that he's been sat for, and missed shifts and other things. So I'm kind of over that. So if everybody's healthy and back, there's no reason he should be playing instead of Fulton.
Interesting.
That's my piece. I don't think that there's a reason that he should be playing instead.
I think he's been playing pretty well, actually. I
just have I don't know. I just have.
I know you just don't like him, to be honest. I think he's been playing pretty well. I don't know. I think Fulton's better, but I don't have an issue with him.
So who would you take out? if Fulham's playing better.
Well, I mean, you have to go back and forth. I mean, neither one is going to play every night, you know.
They can.
I don't know.
To build continuity, you could.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with either. I guess I go Folan, but I don't have an issue with Prosser. I think he's been playing pretty well.
And that's the problem with the experiment. And that's I will give people that say the line juggling does cause issues. That does. When you don't play with your constant partner all the time and you don't have the predictability and know what they're going to do without playing with them all the time, I guess it was my train of thought, then you don't have it. And it's not your security blanket that you can rely on, because it's a different person. While you do practice with them and do other things, it's not there. And so it's different.
How are you liking the pairings right now?
I don't know. I mean, I would like to see some shift. I have no problem putting Brodin on the fourth line, personally. Or the third line, I'm sorry. Third pairing.
Yeah.
But that's me. I agree with Tony. I don't think it's going to happen just because you're not putting, Jonas Brodin on the quote-unquote third pairing of D.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to me, it doesn't seem like chemistry is an issue. It seems like the pairings are flowing well. I think they need to work on their issues in front of the net. Not necessarily as who's paired with who, just generally as a defense. I mean, all the lines seem to be having issues with it.
So maybe that could be just a thing that in general the D core just needs to pick it up defensively. Obviously, they went through a streak offensively where they were all doing quite well.
Yeah.
But, yeah, definitely have to have a balanced game while not sacrificing the offensive contributions.
Yeah. What was that?
What the hell was that? They just walked by with something. We're going to have to get Corey over here to tell us what that was, because it was something with a big knife stuck in it.
It was some sort of like giant burger.
Hey, what was
I
that thing that Corey just walked by with? The St.
St.
Paul's Stacker.
Okay. We'll have to check that
We'll have
out.
to figure out what that is.
I don't know. Some sort of amazing-looking sandwich with like a knife in it. Okay, talk to yourself for 2 seconds.
Oh, are you leaving?
I'm going to go get the menu to see what it is.
You're going to get a stacker? Well, she's going to go get a stacker. Here she goes. She's skipping across the way. Why are you walking like that?
Shut up.
Do you have like a leg injury?
You're the worst. Let's see.
Well, those of you at home that can't see it, I had to give them a play-by-play.
It's Italian peasant bread piled with ham, provolone cheese, French fries, coleslaw, tomato, fried egg, and mayonnaise.
Wow.
I mean,
with a steak knife stabbed through the top of it.
It sounds like something I need after like a really bad hangover.
Oh yeah.
That'll fix you right up.
That sounds solid.
So what you should do is
have a really bad hangover?
come here, ride the bus Friday night, go down to the game, get hammed, ride the bus buck, take an Uber. You can just leave your car here, come back Saturday, have the St. Paul Stacker, get hammed, ride the bus to the game,
take
ride
an
the
Uber
bus
home.
back. Take an Uber home.
You should leave your car here for like no shit from like Wednesday to Sunday.
Just over the Thanksgiving weekend. It's
just
fine.
Keep Ubering it home. I mean, your family can come get you for the holidays, and the rest of the time just hang out, like camp out here.
Uber's so cheap, it'll be totally fine.
Worth it.
Totally worth it. So
like
going into
public safety message from Sarah and Scott.
Yeah. Well, we're almost into December, which is kind of crazy. I just can't even believe that we're almost there. But you think coming back fully healthy, what are your concerns coming up in December?
Concerns in December? I mean, I would say just making sure that we build the lines correctly, get some stability. Mix in Kemper. I would say that is a to-do as far as mixing him in, and just making sure that the Wild are just playing well. I mean, I guess if you look in December as far as like the games go, you do have you have Colorado twice, you have Toronto, you have Chicago. You do have teams, Vancouver, San Jose, New York. So
I don't know if you can put Chicago in a slumping spot or like they're going to be an easy game.
No, I'm saying like they're below us, but they're going to be a tough matchup. Always are. But even Colorado when they come to town, I mean, we usually win, but they always put up some sort of physical bout. So hopefully we get out of those games without having injuries.
It's just nice playing them right now when they're a little bit lower on the totem pole,
and a little bit banged up before their players come back. Sure, no, absolutely. And then. I mean, you go right through. We got to play Pittsburgh again, day after Christmas. We got to play St. Louis.
Boxing Day, you mean?
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
You going to plug the Canadian holiday that nobody really understands?
Okay, Boxing Day is the greatest day of the year. Okay, in Canada, everybody is off. Nobody has to go back to work. Like, not one person.
By the way, insert Aaron and I both giving her a confused look like, what are you talking about?
Do you know that in Canada in February, there's an actual holiday, swear to God, bank holiday. Everybody is off. Family Day.
Yeah, you're Canadian. That's pretty much it.
It's a day that you get off to spend with your family.
Is there another one called Softy Day?
That's the same as Family
or
Day.
Wimp Day?
Wimp Day.
Wussy Day?
You are never invited to Canada.
I'm
for all Canadians, I'm saying it right now, you're out.
Wow.
You're going to regret that one day.
You just spoke for Parliament or whatever you have up there? Parliament, right? Is it kind of like a British type setup? Parliament?
Sure.
Okay. You have no idea.
I have no idea.
That's the best ever. You're like,
we have a prime minister. Is that what you're talking about?
Got people on horses.
We just got a new prime minister.
Mounties. They wear hats.
Mounties are cool, bro.
All right, bro. All right. Anyways, I think we're probably good to put a bow on this.
All right, so let's hear your predictions.
So
then.
predictions from now till I'll give it from now till Wednesday. We could chime in on different things. Maybe we'll record this before the show or before we leave out of town and play it. But I'm thinking that we will rally and win tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night in Boston
in regulation. And then I think we will win at home against the Preds, and we will win against Vancouver. So I think we go 3-0 from now till Wednesday.
And then you're not going to talk about the Jets or the Stars?
You want to talk about the Jets? Fine. Jets and the Stars, I'd say that one of them at least goes to OT, and I'd say we probably split those.
Okay.
So if I'm saying that I'd probably say there's one win and one loss there. So if we're going to say it's 3-1-1.
Okay. I'm going to say we win tomorrow night in regulation in Boston. We have to. I'm going to say we win at home against the Preds. I think we might stupidly drop Canucks, and then I think we take Jets and Stars. I think we take the back-to-back. Maybe one in overtime.
So use your math and tell me what that looks like.
That was really tough. I'm going to say...
she has a pencil out. Carry the one.
I don't know why this is so hard.
They teach
for me
math
right
in Canada?
now. Well, I have the games like in a row here. 1, 2, 3.
This is amusing.
3, 1, and 1. I was the same as yours. Damn it.
Look at that. See? I said it first. And by the way, last week...
I didn't mean for it to be
1,
the
1,
same.
That's right. I got it right last week. So, but we hope that you'll join us next time, and thank you for listening. Come down to Bennett's, take the shuttle, drink a Summit. It's really a fabulous place. I'm going to have the dry rub wings tonight. I think that's a pregame meal if I've ever heard one.
It's always fun to watch Scott eat the dry rub. It's not. It's disgusting.
Well, whatever.
All right. Well, everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We'll see you after the holiday. Listen to Scott on the Sports Ticket tomorrow night, live at 5. Go on down to
live
McGovern's.
At 5. It's like the news. Live at 5.
Yeah, live at 5. Check it out. Him and Kendall. I love Kendall.
And I think Kevin has recorded some fantasy football tips. So for those of you that need help with your roster, listen tomorrow.
That's probably good that you're going on the show. You could probably use a little help.
Dude, I've been doing well past couple weeks. Anyways, all right. We're out of here. We'll talk to you later.
Have a good holiday.
I see the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through to make those rainbows in my mind. When I think of you sometime, and I want to spend some time with you, just the two of us.